Hello students, how are you all? This is Anup sir, your English teacher from Devashya International Public School. In this video, we will understand the second part of Bepin Choudhury's Lapse of Memory. In the last video, we understood the first part of this lesson in which we got to know that Bepin Choudhury met an unknown person in a bookshop, and from where he came to know the part of his life which he does not remember. The part in which he went to Ranchi and visited several places. He does not remember anything about that part of his life. तो स्टूडेंट्स, हमने इस लेसन के फर्स्ट पार्ट में क्या समझा था? हमने ये देखा था कि बिपिन चौधरी जो इस लेसन का मेन कैरेक्टर है, वो एक इंसान से टकराता है, एक अनजान इंसान जो उन्हें एक बुक शॉप में मिलता है। और वो अनजान इंसान बिपिन चौधरी के लाइफ के एक पार्ट के बारे में बात करता है जो उन्हें बिल्कुल भी याद नहीं। वो अनजान इंसान जिसका नाम परिमल घोष है, वो बिपिन चौधरी को बताता है कि 1958 में बिपिन चौधरी रांची गए थे और वहां पे वो उस इंसान से मिले भी थे। और बिपिन चौधरी को ये बात झूठ लगती है क्योंकि उन्हें बिल्कुल भी याद नहीं होता कि वो कभी रांची गए हुए हैं। वो काफी बार प्लान करते हैं रांची जाने के लिए, लेकिन कभी भी वो जा नहीं पाते। ये था हमारा फर्स्ट पार्ट। अब इस वीडियो में हम इस लेसन का सेकेंड पार्ट लेंगे जो आगे कंटिन्यू होता है। तो चलो स्टूडेंट्स, लेट अस चेक आउट व्हाट हैपेंस नेक्स्ट। बिपिन चौधरी's Lapse of Memory Part 2. Bipin Babu's car was safely parked in Bertram Street by the Lighthouse Cinema. He told the driver as he got into the car, "Just drive by the Ganga. Will you, Sitaram?" Now, students, we got to know in the first part of this lesson, in the last video, that when Parimal Ghosh was talking to Bipin Babu about the incident of Ranchi, Bipin Babu did not remember anything of Ranchi trip. So he did not want to talk anymore to this strange man, Parimal Ghosh. So what Bipin Babu did was he paid the money to the shopkeeper and got the books, and he came out of the shop. Now, when he was walking towards the car, Bipin Babu's car was safely parked in the Bertram Street near the Lighthouse Cinema. He went to the car and got inside the car. When he sat inside the car, he told the driver to take the car near the Ganga, and his driver's name was सीताराम। तो स्टूडेंट्स, इस पार्ट में हमें पता चलता है कि बिपिन बाबू उस बुक शॉप से बाहर निकलते हैं और अपनी कार में जाके बैठते हैं। बिपिन बाबू की कार काफी सेफली पार्क्ड होती है बर्टराम स्ट्रीट पे, लाइट हाउस सिनेमा के पास में। बिपिन बाबू के ड्राइवर का नाम होता है सीताराम। वो कार के अंदर बैठते हैं और सीताराम से कहते हैं कि मुझे गंगा रिवर के पास ले चलो। Driving up the Strand Road, Bipin Babu regretted having paid so much attention to the intruder. He had never been to Ranchi, no question about it. It was inconceivable that he should forget such an incident which took place only 6 or 7 years ago. He had an excellent memory, unless Bipin Babu's head reeled. Now, Bipin Babu, sitting inside the car, going towards the river Ganga, was thinking about Parimal Ghosh and what Parimal Ghosh said about Ranchi. Bipin Babu was not feeling good about wasting his time talking to Parimal Ghosh about the incident of Ranchi, because he thinks that it cannot be true. If this incident really happened, if Bipin Babu really went to Ranchi, he would remember about that incident, because this incident did not happen so long. it was just 6 or 7 years back. That was in 1958. So Bipin Babu thinks that he never went to Ranchi. So how can it be possible? Now Bipin Babu had an excellent memory. So he thinks that it can happen and his head goes round and round thinking about this incident. Was he losing his mind? But how could that be? He was working daily in his office. It was a big firm and he was doing a responsible job. He wasn't aware of anything ever going seriously wrong. Only today he spoke for half an hour at an important meeting, and yet. Now, Bipin Babu was deeply into the thought what Parimal Ghosh said to Bipin Babu about the trip of Ranchi. Now, Bipin Babu, somewhere in his mind, is having a doubt that really, did he go to Ranchi or not? Is it true or not? Somewhere in his mind, he was thinking that was he going mad? But how can this be possible? He was working in a very big firm, in a very big office, doing a very responsible job, but nothing went wrong till today. And how could this happen now? He had a meeting today and he talked in this meeting for half an hour and nothing went wrong. This was an important meeting. And yet, now he comes to know that there is some part of his life that is missing out of his head. And yet, the man knew a great deal about him. How? He even seemed to know some intimate details. The bag of books, wife's death, brother's insanity. The only mistake was about him having gone to Ranchi. Not a mistake, a deliberate lie. Now, students, Bipin Babu always wanted to go to Ranchi. He planned to go to Ranchi many times. And now, at present, someone new, an unknown person, comes to his life and says that Bipin Babu had been to Ranchi in some part of his life and he does not remember about that. Somewhere he thinks that he is going insane, he is going mad, and somewhere he thinks that it cannot be true. Now, Bipin Babu thinks that how can this be possible? This unknown person, Parimal Ghosh, knows very much about Bipin Babu's life. He knows that he always carries a bag of books. He even knew that Bipin Babu's wife's death and Bipin Babu's brother's insanity. He even knew that Bipin Babu's brother was going crazy and he died because of that. The only mistake what Parimal Ghosh did here that he told Bipin Babu that he had been to Ranchi and this cannot be true. It cannot be a mistake from Parimal Ghosh's side. It is a deliberate lie. Now somewhere this Parimal Ghosh is trying to lie to Bipin Babu that he went to Ranchi. In 58, during the pujas, he was in Kanpur at his friend Haridas Bagchi's place. Now, as Parimal Ghosh told Bipin Babu that in the year 1958, Bipin Babu visited Ranchi. But Bipin Babu does not feel that it is true because he knows that in the year 1958, Bipin Babu was at his friend's house. His friend's name was Haridas Bagchi. He went there for a puja. All Bipin Babu had to do was write to. No, there was no way of writing to Haridas. Bipin Babu suddenly remembered that Haridas had left with his wife for Japan some weeks ago and he didn't have his address. Now, it crosses Bipin Babu's mind that if he went for the puja, in 1958 to Haridas' place, what he could do is he could write a letter to Haridas and talk about this incident. Then he would come to know what is true. But suddenly, Bipin Babu remembers that Haridas with his wife went to Japan some weeks ago, and Bipin Babu does not have Haridas' address at Japan. But where was the need for proof? He himself was fully aware that he hadn't been to Ranchi, and that was that. When Bipin Babu remembers that his friend Haridas has gone to Japan, so there's no way to contact his friend. And then Bipin Babu thinks that what is the need of a proof? He does not have to prove to anyone that he had not been to Ranchi because he himself knows that he has never been to Ranchi. In the year 1958, he was at his friend Haridas' house for a puja. The river breeze was bracing, and yet a slight discomfort lingered in Bipin Babu's mind. When Bipin Babu was sitting near the Ganga river, there was fresh air blowing in the environment, and yet Bipin Babu was uncomfortable because there was something going inside his mind. That was about Parimal Ghosh and what he said. Around Hastings, Bipin Babu decided to roll up his trouser and take a look at his right knee. Now, when Bipin Babu's car was moving from Hastings, he remembers that Parimal Ghosh had told him that when he visited Choudhury Falls, he had a fall and hurt his knee. Now, Bipin Babu decides to roll up his trouser and have a look at the cut which he had on his right knee or not. There was the mark of an old inch-long cut. It was impossible to tell when the injury had occurred. Had he never had a fall as a boy and cut his knee? He tried to recall such an incident but couldn't. When Bipin Babu rolled up his pant and had a look at his right knee, he saw that he had a mark of a cut which was an inch long. So now he starts thinking about this. He does not remember exactly when he got hurt on his knee. He tries to think that if it had happened in his childhood, that he had a fall and cut his knee. He tries to remember, he tries to recall, but none of such an incident come into his mind. Then Bipin Babu suddenly thought of Dinesh Mukherjee. The man had said that Dinesh was in Ranchi at the same time. The best thing surely would be to ask him. He lived quite near, in Baninandan Street. What about going right now? But then, if he had really never been to Ranchi, what would Dinesh think? If Bipin Babu asked for a confirmation, he would probably conclude Bipin Babu was going nuts. No, it would be ridiculous to ask him. Now, students, when Bipin Babu was confused thinking about the trip of Ranchi, suddenly he remembers about Dinesh Mukherjee. Parimal Ghosh said once that Bipin Babu had stopped at his friend's house, whose name was Dinesh Mukherjee, because he did not like hotel food. Now Bipin Babu thinks that he should go to his friend's house, that is Dinesh Mukherjee's house, and he could ask him because Dinesh Mukherjee lives nearby in Beninandan Street. But suddenly he thinks that what if he really had been to Ranchi and does not remember about it. And Dinesh Mukherjee would think that Bipin Babu is going mad. So he drops the idea of asking Dinesh Mukherjee about Ranchi's incident. He thinks that it is a bad idea to ask him because if he had asked Dinesh Mukherjee about this, he would think that Bipin Babu is going mad. And he knew how ruthless Dinesh's sarcasm could be. Bipin Babu thinks that Dinesh's word could insult Bipin Babu, so he now does not want to ask Dinesh Mukherjee about Ranchi's trip. Sipping a cool drink in his air conditioned living room, Bipin Babu felt at ease again. Such a nuisance. Just because they have nothing else to do, they go about getting into other people's hair. Now, when Bipin Babu reaches home, he sits in his air conditioned living room and thinks about that Parimal Ghosh. And he says that that person was ridiculous, that he had nothing else to do. So he came near Bipin Babu and ruined his thoughts. After dinner, snuggling in bed with one of the new thrillers, Bipin Babu forgot all about the man in Newmarket. So, when it was night and when Bipin Babu had completed having his dinner, he went on his bed and started reading the new book which he brought from that shop. It was a thriller book. So, when he was reading this book, he completely forgot about Parimal Ghosh, who met him in the new market. Next day, in the office, Bipin Babu noticed that with every passing hour, the previous day's encounter was occupying more and more of his mind. If the man knew so much about Bipin Babu, how could he make such a mistake about the Ranchi trip? Now, students, when Bipin Babu went to office the next morning, hour by hour, the time was passing, and with the passing hour, his head was filling up with the memories of the talks which he had with Parimal Ghosh the previous day. And Bipin Babu now thinks that Parimal Ghosh knew so much about Bipin Babu and his life, then how could he mistake about Ranchi's trip? So, somewhere now Bipin Babu starts thinking that Parimal Ghosh is right. Just before lunch, Bipin Babu decided to ring up Dinesh Mukherjee. It was better to settle the question over the phone. At least the embarrassment on his face wouldn't show. It was the time for the lunch. So, just before the lunch, what Bipin Babu decides is he thinks of calling his friend Dinesh Mukherjee, and he thinks that it is better to call his friend over phone and ask about this incident. If Bipin Babu was wrong, it was impossible for Dinesh Mukherjee to have a look at Bipin Babu's expressions on his face. So he thinks that this idea is good of calling Dinesh Mukherjee over phone and asking about Ranchi's incident. 235616. Bipin Babu dialed the number. Hello, is that Dinesh? This is Bipin here. Well, what's the news? I just wanted to find out if you recalled an incident which took place in 58. Now, Bipin Babu dials up the number and calls Dinesh Mukherjee. He dials the number 235616. When someone picks up the call, he confirms is that Dinesh or not. When he gets the confirmation that it is Dinesh on the other side of the phone, Bipin Babu says that this is Bipin. So, Dinesh Mukherjee asks, what is the reason of the call? Is anything new? What's the news? So, Bipin Babu says that he just wanted to ask about an incident which had occurred in the year 1958. 58? What incident? Were you in Calcutta right through that year? That's the first thing I have got to know. Wait, just a minute. 58. Just let me check in my diary. For a minute, there was silence. Bipin Babu could feel that his heartbeat had gone up. He was sweating a little. Hello? Yes, I have got it. I'd been out twice. Where? Now, when Bipin Babu tells Dinesh Mukherjee over the phone that he wanted to know about some incident in the year 1958, so Dinesh Mukherjee asks what incident in 58. Then Bipin Babu asks Dinesh Mukherjee that first of all, I want to know that in the year 1958, did you go anywhere out of Calcutta? So, here, Dinesh Mukherjee is being asked about something that happened 6 or 7 years back, which he clearly does not remember. So, Dinesh Mukherjee tells Bipin Babu that he will have to check that in his diary. So, he goes off the phone and gets his diary. He opens the diary and picks up the call again and tells Bipin Babu that he has got his diary. Meanwhile, when Dinesh Mukherjee is off the phone to get his diary to check out the year 1958, there's a complete silence over the phone at that time. So, Bipin Babu's heartbeats starts rising up and he starts sweating. When Dinesh Mukherjee is back with his diary, he attends the call and says, hello, yes, I have got the diary and I was out of town twice in that year. So Bipin Babu asks, where had he been twice in that year? Once in February, nearby to Krishnanagar to a nephew's wedding, and then. But you would know about this one, the trip to Ranchi. You were there too. That's all. But what's all this sleuthing about? Dinesh Mukherjee tells Bipin Babu that it was twice that he was out of town in that year. Once it was in the month February that he went near to Krishnanagar for his nephew's marriage, and the other trip, which was to Ranchi, that even Bipin Babu knew because even he was in Ranchi at that year. And at last, Dinesh Mukherjee asked Bipin Babu that what was all this questioning about. No, I just wanted to. Anyways, thanks. Bipin Babu slammed the receiver down and gripped his head with his hands. He felt his head swimming. A chill seemed to spread over his body. There were sandwiches in his tiffin box, but he didn't eat them. He had lost his appetite. Now, students, when Dinesh Mukherjee tells that there were two trips in the year 1958, out of which one trip was in Ranchi, and even Bipin Babu was in Ranchi at that time. Now, Bipin Babu gets confused. When Dinesh Mukherjee asks Bipin Babu why is he asking such questions, Bipin Babu starts telling the reason and stops in between. He says that, no, I just wanted to, and stops his sentence there. Bipin Babu says thanks to Dinesh Mukherjee and hangs up the call. After disconnecting the call, Bipin Babu holds his head with his hands. He feels that his body is going numb and cold. He has a sandwich in his tiffin box, but he does not feel like eating anything. So, students, this was the second part of this lesson, Bipin Choudhury's Lapse of Memory. We will continue the third part in the next video. Till then, this is Anup sir saying thank you and goodbye.